There may be more drastic sorts of weather events, be they hurricanes, tornadoes, even cold spells. It doesn't necessarily mean everything's getting warmer, it just means there's more energy in the system.
Because a lot of people think, when they think climate change, they think, okay, glacier's going to melt. They don't even know how that's actually going to affect the whole climate of the world. If you read a lot and learn a lot about the effects of climate change, you'll see that it's negatively impacting the environment basically everywhere. It doesn't matter whether it's the desert or the rainforest or a Great Lakes region or whatever. Everybody is suffering long-term damage here, even if they don't know it.
I don't see my life being extremely affected by climate change.
Yeah, climate change will absolutely affect my life. I plan on being here for a while, in which case the world's going to be changing.
We're so focused on oil and fossil fuels, and our country runs on it so much that if we don't do anything now, then we're going to have a crisis.
The lack of certainty as to effects is leading some to inaction.
I need to be convinced more that my little actions actually make a difference.
It's too big, my actions, if I turn off this light, if I walk to work instead of drive, if I eat local food instead of exotic food, if I keep my house at 60 degrees instead of 70 degrees in the winter, and so on and so on, that won't make enough difference because it's really just a spit in the ocean.
The problem is that it has to start to some degree with a government push, right? And there has to be a certain kind of framework, even on an individual level, so that people can make a difference. The government has to take a role in developing hydro power and wind power and solar power. I mean, they've been doing this in Scandinavia for quite a while now. I don't see why we can't sort of jump on the boat.
I think there's a lot to be done by people in power, like people with positions that have a lot of clout to them, I guess. First, at the local level, it's about our president, Doug Bennett, saying we're going to commit to being environmentally responsible. It's about Sally Hutton saying we're going to be environmentally responsible. Indiana Governor, President Bush, Barack, whoever it's going to end up being, about saying this is something we're going to be committed to.
Real change has always come because of a few committed people. If 10% of the population gets persuaded that that's in effect, you've reached a tipping point. It doesn't have to be a majority. It can be a minority of very committed people can make a difference. And one person can make a difference in terms of helping build that minority. It's not so much persuading as providing an opportunity for nature to work its wonders on that person.
To be more aware of the projects that actually have made a difference and how much of a difference those projects have made.
Just having someone around you who's really excited and motivated about something, that it rubs off, and you pick up on it.
We definitely need to become more engaged in this on a personal level, but what that means is becoming engaged on a personal level so that we can make a difference on a political level.
I mentioned Mark Stossberg, a recent Earlham grad, 10 years ago or so, who's leading basically a movement to using bikes for transportation in the community and is really having an impact on the community. This one person, now he's gathered others around him, but he's really making a difference.
Until there's a grassroots movement to get something done about these problems, then nothing's going to change, right? Because the government's not just going to sort of do it spontaneously out of the good of their heart or something. They're listening to and responding to the needs of their citizens.
People ask me sometimes when I start telling them some of the facts, well, why don't you just give up? I mean, I've had people say that. And, you know, I get tired of picking up cigarette butts on campus. I get tired, you know, on this liberal campus where supposedly we care about things, you know, trash, cigarette butts, pop bottles, whatever. We can't seem to keep recycling going because people, you know, it just seems like even at this place, this liberal bastion, we can't do it right environmentally. It gets really frustrating. But there's something in me that I think it's worth giving everything so that our species will go on. And if we keep following our nest, our species is not going to go on. So I've got a fundamental optimism. That doesn't mean I see this in a rosy way. I think that some of the real change is only going to be forced by economic turmoil as fuel prices go up.
I think that economic equality, or the movement for economic equality, has to go hand in hand with the movement to deal with issues related to climate change.
It's in my generation leadership that we become aware of these issues and have hesitated to deal with them because of the real cost of dealing with them. Do I think your generation can pull it off, can survive this and figure out ways to thrive? Yeah, I do. I think that's part of being human, and I think in the U.S., as many threats as we have to our way of life, the good parts of our way of life, there's still a freedom and an attitude of can-do, or we can fix things, or creativity, or entrepreneurship. This next election is going to be critical because the person who becomes president this time and has that bully pulpit has an opportunity to change things, to get my generation to begin to change.
It makes the public wonder what kind of future we're installing. This is a rhyme created in a new design to redefine our whole frame of mind, 'cause we gotta wake up before we run out of time.